PDF file, 100 pages of lectures, collection of lectures from Swami Paramarthanandaji. So, yeah, I don't know whether
he sent what again?
Paramarthanandaji's lectures, I believe, has been put into a PDF file, almost 3,600 pages.
Correct. I am aware of that. I refer to that constantly.
Okay. So, can I forward it to the group?
No, you don't have to forward that. arshaavinash.in.
Okay.
arshaavinash.in. Just send that link. Go ahead and search that link and then send that link. Don't need to, it's a large file. And so Swami Paramarthanandaji's talks on various topics, various Upanishads, etc. What they have done is some of his students have transcribed those talks and then provided those transcriptions in the form of a PDF file. And so that's useful. I refer to that constantly because it saves me, I don't have to listen to Swamiji. And listening takes some time. Whereas since we already know the subject matter, I can scan it and I can get the main messages. And so a text for me helps a lot. And so that's a site that is available for anybody who has the time to read. And of course, listening to Swamiji is the best way, and rather than reading his teachings, because Shravanam is the key. And so always choose the Shravanam option rather than the reading option. Okay, just that's by the way. Yeah, thanks, Satish. Yeah, Vaidya.
Yes, Jaykumarji, namaste.
Namaste.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So last class, in your great, it was a really good summary of chapter 6. You brought in the three kinds of kripa, Ishvara kripa, Guru kripa, and Shastra kripa. How does that fit in with those disciplines you were talking about? Initially you talked about, the sadhanas, right? The Bahiranga sadhanas and Antaranga sadhanas. So this was, I think you were talking in the context of the Bahiranga sadhanas, right? Starting with Karma Yoga as a start. And then I also had another question. I also have heard the term Atma Kripa. And is that some, how does that all fit in?
Yeah, Atma Kripa. I did not mention Atma Kripa that day. And Atma Kripa also is mentioned often. So I think you can add Atma Kripa to the three, and Ishvara, Shastram, and Guru. Atma Kripa means Atma. Atma is what sustains all of us. And so that Atma has to be acknowledged. And so that Atma Kripa is there, and which is what the teaching is meant for, to recognize that Atma Kripa. And so the idea is, your first question now is, how does it fit in the context of Karma Yoga, in the context of disciplines, Bahiranga Sadhana? Well, it fits in because I have a lot of Kripa. I am not alone. I'm not alone fending for myself. Okay, I've got a lot of Kripa. I've got a lot of resource. I'm a very resourceful person. They say resourceful, right? And so I have to take advantage of the Shastram. The Shastram is meant for me. I'm not meant for Shastram. And I have to approach my Guru, right? And before that, of course, Bhagavan is of course there. Ishvara Kripa is always there. So I have to tap in. Puja Swamiji will say, tap into Bhagavan's grace constantly. Tap in. Even before the study starts, I must learn to tap into Bhagavan's grace. So that puja and japa is always there. That is why going to temples and all very important. And we can't become too nonchalant about that. Correct? Yeah, that's what I meant. That is where Bahiranga Sadhana, correct?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then what is Atma Kripa actually?
Atma Kripa is Uddhared Atmanatmanam Natmanam Avasadaya. That is Atma Kripa. That means, hey, you have the ability to withstand whatever is happening to you. That is Atma Kripa.
Okay.
Even before help arrives, I have to tell myself this.
Right.
That is Atma Kripa. That
Yes.
ability to even say, I will be fine. Ability to say, this too shall pass. That is Atma Kripa only. I think so. I think this is my own opinion. Okay, you can consult. And that is Atma Kripa. Atma Kripa means I am endowed with the ability to protect myself.
Got it.
I may not be able to protect my body, but my thought process is there. Yeah, that is Atma Kripa.
Jaykumarji.
One minute. Mahesh raised their hand, and you had saying something related to this, Sundariji?
Yes, Ji.
Yeah, go ahead then.
Recently, in one of the interactions, Amma was talking about performing puja. So we just take some flowers and then offering it to God. She showed the hand like that. Nothing is left in my hand. So that attitude, symbolic attitude of I am giving everything to you. So very profound, I felt. But now when I do the puja, that comes to my mind. Every puja, archana I do, that thought comes to me. I think that slowly prepares you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I agree.
Because you don't do it, with your fist. You do it completely with your open hand. So with nothing in your hand.
Yeah. When you do the puja, when you offer the flowers, archana, when you do, that every name, every time you say, you just say it with the feeling that whatever pain I have also belongs to you.
Yeah.
So
true.
just act it out. Take the pain in my heart. You are the one who can handle my pain. Take it away. Take it away. All this confusion. Just take away my confusion. So it's this archana is a very important thing. Ashtottara Namavali, 108 names of Krishna, Ganapati, Lakshmi, whatever you have. And we have to practice it. We have to do it as often as we want to do it. That is the best way to resolve our basic psychological fundamental, not the fundamental, but the emotional issues that we have. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, Mahesh ji, go ahead.
I have two questions, Jaykumar. One, in chapter number 2, he asks Arjuna that, if you run away from the field, think what others will think about you, what, your, other people in the kingdom will think about you. So my thing is, are we living our life for somebody else or for us? Why should I care? I mean, isn't that the reason some of these days, all this honor killing is all because of that? Because what is a shame I get my family or something? So that was my point.
Yeah, so that was said even before that. So even Klaibyam Masmagam of Partha is said, hey, you are an Apumsak. You are acting like you're neither a male nor a female, he said. And it all falls in the same category. This is called checking out the adhikaritvam. Adhikaritvam. Is the person really qualified for this subject or not? Adhikaritvam. Every Upanishad you go. So Yamadharma Raja keeps on dodging Nachiketa by offering this, offering that. Offer. So this is a way of saying, okay, come on, you have to use your brains, and you don't. I don't think you have brains also. Minimum brains that people have, you don't have. Then see how the response is. See how the response is. What is it? You are coming. I have come here for advice. You are insulting me. Okay. If that is the way this person is thinking, that means he has not really thought it all out. Okay. So this is the way. This is what we say adhikaritvam. So in every text, there is always a an indication, either a direct mention of adhikaritvam means qualification, viveka, vivekam, vairagyam, shamadamadi, and mumukshutvam, or an implication. Okay, here it is implied.
The
Here
second
it is implied.
question, on chapter number 4, sloka
You're
number
not fully audible. You can come close.
chapter number 4,
Yeah.
which sloka 24, he said the Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, everything what you do is Brahman. So my question is, I don't know that the Brahman is Nityam, Avinashi and all that, but every Samagri he talks about is not permanent. So how do you relate something permanent to something not permanent?
Yeah. So the permanent is what sustains, pervades the impermanent. Okay. So anything that has form, anything that has shape, anything that has any quality is impermanent. And it turns out that what sustains that impermanent is permanent. And so Krishna is saying, shift your attention from the impermanent, the form that you're carried away by, to that essence which is you and which is permanent. Okay. So in a way, so the permanent and impermanent are very much related to each other, related without being related. Okay. So everything is Brahma, and but I don't know that everything is Brahma. And so anything that has form, anything that is finite is going to be impermanent. That's the message there. And so Brahmarpanam. So everything is Brahma. So in a way there he's talking about the Jagat also is bringing. He's bringing Jagat. Jiva is there, but Jagat also is brought in. Entire world is Brahma, he says. Which is really a topic of the chapters 7 to 12. And so that's so periodically that also will be brought in. Yeah. Yeah, Ramesh ji, go ahead.
Jai Kumarji, here about karma. Good, good, bad, bad. Nobody escaped the law of karma, right? If you have done something good, either in the previous life, you are going to get the good result of that. If not, the bad. My question here is, Krishna is trying to change, or he changed the course of karma of Pandavas by interfering here? Is it not against the nature?
How is Krishna changing the course of karma?
Yeah, because as per his own theory, the karma, what Pandavas, they done something good to be born as a princely family. They must have done something bad in their previous life. That's why they paid for that. Now, when they legally lost everything because of foolishness of Dharmaraya, whole kingdom, wife, brothers, and everything they lost, they did not have the legal right to come back. When you go to casino, I think same question I asked you about long time ago. When you go to casino, you lost $1,000. Would you go and ask the casino owner, hey, give me that, I was drunk, I got $1,000 lost, give me back? First time, even with Bhishma and the interfere, they will give the whole thing. And being Dharmaraja, he was a big addict about the gambling. Next week, Duryodhana calls him back. He goes back again, and then he bets again. Even though legally he does not own any of the things what he bet, except his Rajya. Still he loses, and then they have a certain period they don't own it. During that time, if you don't own during a certain time, like 11 or 13 years, I think, you lose the right of the property. That's the principle Duryodhana brings up and tells Krishna and Dharmaraja, you don't have any legal right for everything. You cannot fight, I won't give anything. That way, Krishna interfered and then changed the course of karma.
See, the deals were struck. They went to the forest for 13 years only because it was all legal. Okay, it was legally agreed. That is why they went to the forest. They did not protest. Without protesting, they left. They realized the mistakes they made. Okay, so there is no doubt. So nobody is going to. They could have fought the war 13 years before also. Okay, and they didn't do that because they knew they had to keep up their word. But the war came because of the agreement was not met, and they had that agreement, and Duryodhana said that no way. If you can live in the forest for 13 years, you can live for another 13 years. What logic is that? Huh? And they kept on negotiating. They kept on negotiating. Oh, okay. Even when they didn't meet he did not meet the agreement. And said, okay, you give us at least 5 villages, and then one village with 5 blocks and one house with 5 rooms and all that. And they're trying to avert the war as much as possible because they knew war now is going to be disastrous for everybody. And so they were trying to give as much as possible. Then only war was declared. So, and some of the acts they had done were wrong, even though some people may say it's legal. You've given away Draupadi. So what happened? They do whatever they want with Draupadi, if you say. Well, you don't have to publicly humiliate Draupadi. You can take care of her, whatever, do something else. So like these arguments can be made. But the war here is because they were not given even that what was promised for them. That is why they went to war. And so Krishna's role is really nothing. He was really an ambassador. He didn't do anything at all. He was only responding to any doubts that Pandavas had. And he was basically a messenger going back and forth. He doesn't really, I don't see anything where he's
That's correct. But what I mean to say, the same Krishna comes and tells that your karma, what he did it, that's why you did everything. But finally he comes and tells that, no, that's it. I'm going to take care of this one, Kauravas.
I'm going to take care of what?
Kauravas.
Krishna
the Duryodhana and everything.
Krishna is not taking care of Kauravas. Krishna says, I'm going to be weaponless, and if you want me, I will be not fighting the war. This is what he says. That's why he became a charioteer of all things. If Krishna has to take care, he can come with Shankhi Chakra and all that. And Shankhi, I'm coming, and then Chakra, send the Chakra out. Nothing happened. So Krishna is a perfect, this Bhagavad Gita, perfect example. Mahabharata, perfect example. Last time I asked a question. What was the question I asked that you all had to think about? Do you all remember the question?
Free will.
Free will.
What is the question? What is the question?
God has a free will or not?
Does Bhagavan have free will or not? That was the question I left.
Yes.
With all of you.
Yes.
Krishna is a perfect example to show that there is no free will. Krishna does not have free will. God does not have free will. Perfect example. Somebody might say, no. When Arjuna was facing Karna, and then Krishna pushed the chariot down as Karna's arrow was just coming straight at the head of Arjuna. Krishna was partial. No, sir, it won't work. Krishna is Ishvara. Even in our own life. Okay. When I was 23, 24, 25, I told you this. And this fellow, my classmate, was drunk. And I was sitting on the back of the motorcycle, and this fellow drunk, and the fellow is speeding on the motorcycle, and he's crossing like this, crossing a main road, and a truck just went by like this, just few inches behind me it went. There's really no reason for me to be here today. Really, I don't see any reason except the karma. Some karma said some karma is left for you. You have to live a few more years. That's the only explanation I.
Or maybe our karma to learn from you.
That also is your karma. Your karma is all karma, only.
Yes.
Clean karma, no doubt about it. So therefore now there also there that is how the story is said. But you don't take it literally. If you take Krishna as a human being, then what you said is right. That one human being can be partial to another human. That is possible. All that is possible. But where is the question? Ishvara ko to partiality nahi hai. Ishvara has no problem. If he wanted to finish off Duryodhana long ago, he could have finished him off. So all this drama and all not needed. The whole drama, Otherwise, we'll say this Krishna is a what do you call this? Masochist. I think that's the word they use. So seeing people suffer, I want to see everybody suffer. No chance. Therefore, the answer to that question, does Bhagavan have free will, is a big no. Big no. Something to think about.
Yeah, also in
Jai
Buddha.
All right. I have
Jaykumarji.
one more question, Jaykumarji. Follow.
Yeah, 1 minute.
This
Ramesh,
18th, 18th chapters.
I just interrupt 1 minute. Guruji, isn't it Krishna's
Still
avatar
continuing.
was taken mainly to do away with adharma? When adharma manifests, I will manifest to see that there is no unwanted adharma. His whole avatara was for that. And giving a long rope to Duryodhana, he tried to give him as much a chance as possible. And then in the end, he had to see that dharma was reinstated.
So your point is?
No, to what Rameshji said, that he was trying to change the Kauravas, or that part where he said that he was even, not fair to the Kauravas to some extent, because he was going ahead with the war or doing but his whole intent as Ishvara was to reinstate dharma.
So are you saying Bhagavan has free will?
No. I'm not saying Bhagavan has free will, sorry.
We can't wrap her like that.
So therefore, how then Krishna is deciding when to be born, etc.? No, Krishna does not decide when to be born. It is the prayer, prarthana of the samuha, of the society, of the people that precipitates the birth of an avatara. Therefore, it is my karma and your karma that brings Krishna, not Krishna. Krishna doesn't decide when to come. We decide when Krishna comes. Yes or no?
Yes.
You better be convinced. You better think about all this.
No, you're right.
Yes.
Curiosity is bring him about. Very true.
Correct. That's why we are telling our Hindus, hey, wake up, vote for the right people. And otherwise, don't blame DMK and all these things for our problems. You got to, this thing has to be used. And so you decide what government comes. So anyway, good. Any other, somebody wanted to.
The continuation, I have one more.
Yeah.
The 18 chapters, Krishna in the war field, in the matter of few hours, did he preach everything to Arjuna? Or it is a expanded version or a concept he told about Gita, or what is actually real fact?
So everything means, I think the question is, everything that is to be known, everything the Shastra wants to say, did he finish in that 18 chapters? That is the question.
Chapters in the war field, just before war.
Yeah, just before war began. Correct. So the beauty about this Shastram is the teaching can be done in a few shlokas, one shloka, or a few shlokas, or 700 shlokas, as in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. It depends on the level of preparation of the person who is hearing this. Okay. Okay. Now, somebody like Ramana Maharshi can come and then he probably read a book somewhere that says Tattvamasi. Or ready, got it. Got it. Does not lead to study Sanskrit, does not need to sit through all the classes of 18 chapters, nothing. But most of us are not like that. So we need to prepare ourselves also. So all the preparatory things are also talked about in the Bhagavad Gita. Upanishads are much shorter than Bhagavad Gita. Okay, Ishavasya Upanishad is very short. Kena Upanishad is very short, just about 30 verses, 40 verses. We can just chant it. Within 5 minutes, we can finish chanting also, the entire Upanishad. They don't talk about all these things because the student is already prepared and asks a question, Adihi Bhagavo Brahmeti, like that, Taittiriya Upanishad. Student is asking, tell me what is Brahman. I'm ready. The student is not like Arjuna, conflicts, this, that, nothing. Correct? So therefore, that's why when we study the Shastra, when we teach also, in the ashram, when you go and they teach, they'll teach the basics. Bhagavad Gita and all comes under a basics Shastra because there is a lot of basics that are talked about, and so karma yoga, attitudes are all talked about, values are talked about in a big way. Upanishad doesn't talk anything about values. It assumes you are already dharma centric. What values? Satyam, Vada and all, it doesn't have to. It says, Upanishad says it in one, but that's all. It doesn't have to elaborate on all of that.
That means that Krishna, in summary or rest of this one Bhagavad Gita he gave during the time, over the time it's all expanded for the people's explanation or convenience or like that. It is developed over the time, whole Bhagavad Gita.
See,
because the start of just before war, he had maybe 1 hour or something like that to tell Arjuna, hey, what your stand is not right. You need to write the right stand, you need to fight, and then it's a motivation, like a cheerleading, they're giving that one. But over the time, it is expanded.
Yeah, so see, Bhagavad Gita is Smriti. It is not Shruti. So it is Smriti means it is written by Veda Vyasa. We know the author of Bhagavad Gita. Whereas Vedas does not have any author. Whereas Bhagavad Gita has an author. And so Vyasa wrote it. Then Vyasa wrote it. So based on his memory. Okay. Vyasa is Narayana for us. And for us his memory is full, complete. There is no detail Vyasa does not know. But Vyasa has a choice to say things. I to put it in a particular way. Okay. Because he's dictating all this to Ganesha. That's the story. And then he can decide how to say things, what to say things, etc. So Vyasa chose to do it this way. Whether this is exactly what happened in Mahabharata, etc., we don't know. Neither we don't know, nor do we worry about it also. Because the content is so much, otherwise it will be like we are throwing the baby with the bathwater. And so we asking a lot of details about what exactly happened. Was Arjuna wearing? What was the density of the metal that of the shield that Arjuna was wearing, and this thing? All these questions we don't ask because it takes us away from the main point here. And so those who are doing research, they will do research and tell us answers about when it happened and how it happened. What was the state of the country at that time? Kurukshetra, we know where it is, and all those details are there. People are doing research on that, and a lot is known, and a lot is yet to be known. But yeah, generally, at least I don't know that much about some of the details surrounding this Bhagavad Gita and how many days it took for Krishna to teach. Was Arjuna paying attention? Did he sleep off? And all these questions, we don't worry about those questions.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, Raghav.
Namaste, Guruji. just to extend on what Rameshji mentioned, I thought like what Rameshji's question was, if as per the karma, Pandavas might have lost if Krishna was not in the Pandavas side. If Krishna has not taken Pandavas side, probably like Pandavas might have lost that. And by joining Pandavas side, did Krishna interfere in the karmas? In the karma taking its own course. I thought that was the question from what Rameshji asked, and I think
Yes, that's correct.
yeah, from what I believe is we cannot say like which was the right course as per the karma, like whether because Krishna joining Pandava's side may also be as part of karma. So we cannot say that it went against karma. So that's my point of view. And even before joining the Pandava side, Krishna gave an equal chance to Duryodhana. In fact, he gave the first option to Duryodhana, saying that, see, I'm not going to fight in the war, and only I will be. He gives like two options, because I think there was a beautiful story in that. He says like, see, I will be in one part of either I will be. You can choose me or my entire army. Like my entire army will be you can take my entire army, and it's like very huge number of the army count, and a lot of like I think the elephants. A lot of things are there. Like he can take it from this side, or he can choose him alone. He gives like there's a beautiful story of that, and he also knows that Duryodhana will not choose him. Like considering the numbers, he's fond of numbers. He is also sure that he will not choose him. And Duryodhana, as he believed, like he chooses the army instead of Krishna.
Okay, am I audible? Okay,
Yes,
so
Govinda.
looks like Raghavan
Dropped, I think. He got-
dropped now. Okay, let him come back. Yeah, Mahesh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm continuing on that thought of whether Bhagavan has free will or not. In Puranas, there are many places where people, do penance and get boons. And I read somewhere during my college days that they say, oh, Bhagavan is always avashaha, means he is helpless. When somebody prays and propitiates him, he has no choice but to give the boon. Because so questions were raised, why all these demons got all these boons, like Hiranyakashipu or anybody, knowing well Ishvara being Sarvajna, he knows things will happen, may happen like that. Why did he give boons to these people? So I remember in my college days, in the Sanskrit class, the teacher used to explain that the Ishvara is avasha, means helpless. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, so it's an important point for us to think, because we have been taught to think of Bhagavan as a particular entity with a particular body and a shape and qualities, and who will answer my prayers. Okay, he has the ultimate authority to do the good for me. Okay, this is what we are taught. Therefore, the more I appease him, the more he will give me. But then, dharma is Ishvara, karma is Ishvara only. So if there is some Ishvara separate from dharma, some Ishvara separate from karma is not there. We are taught that there is somebody Ishvara, and you will say hello to him every morning, salute him. And then it turns out the whole world is Ishvara, dharma, whatever is operating is Ishvara, the sunrise is Ishvara. And therefore Ishvara is all everything is sarvam khalvidam Ishvaraha. Okay. And so avashaha, Ishvara is really avashaha, is helpless. Is really helpless. In fact, the most helpless being in this world is Ishvaraha. Correct? May come as a shock for all of us. My God, God was my only savior. And now you're telling me God also cannot save me. What is this? What kind of life am I leading? Okay, so that's the truth here. So we are looking at something very big here. And that is where Tattvamasi will make sense also. Otherwise, I'm used to looking at Ishvara as some entity, powerful entity, almighty entity, who will make a mincemeat of all these people. And so let's go and appeal to Ishvara. Then why is Bhagavan creating all this terror groups all over the place? If he knows what is good for us, and then make us pray, he must be a masochist or sadist, not masochist, sadist. That's the word I was looking for. He must be a sadist, watching all this suffering and all. No, Ishvara is helpless. No chance. He has absolutely no help. Karma is playing itself out. Karma is Ishvara. Ishvara says it's all done. Game is going on. All I have to do is watch the game. I am also part of the game. If I have to be born again, that also is up to the people. If the people want me, I'll come. Like that is a way to understand Ishvara. So this form and all, it's useful for us to do our upasanas and celebrate all the festivals. All that form is important. When it comes to analyzing the tattvam, then we get into this kind of discussion. Avashaha is the right word for Ishvara. Avashaha. Okay, so Raghavan, are you there? If you're there, you can finish. You can conclude with a question. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, my battery drained and I got disconnected. So what I was trying to say is Krishna gave enough opportunity equal opportunity to Duryodhana to choose him, but he chose the army instead of Krishna, and Krishna thereby joined the Pandavas army, and now he's part of the team of Pandavas team, and as he's part of the team, because it becomes his dharma to contribute to the victory of Pandava, and therefore whatever he did was as per his dharma, and his whatever he tried to do is as per dharma, and it did not go against the whatever actions were taken were not to interfere with anybody's karma. So that way we can take it up. What I thought, like, and we cannot say like these kind of things can happen anytime. Like even let's say. I think in this case, I can say, like, from my opinion, Krishna did not interfere with like Pandava's karma. That's what I want to conclude. And this kind of confusions can arise in our mind, even in general life. Like, for example, we see in wildlife, many times they shoot a video and you can see a tiger attacking one deer, and they just watch it, like they don't interfere it. If they want, they could have like shot a like gun, and they could have drove away the tiger and save the deer, but they won't interfere. So now we cannot say like whether they did the right thing or did not. We cannot really comment in this which is the right thing. It's a kind of a very thin line, I think. But with respect to Krishna's scenario, I think he did not interfere. That's what I think.
So to extend this argument, we should stop looking at Krishna as a person. If we keep looking at Krishna as a person, then all these questions will come. It's time for us to say Krishna is a personification of the entire law of the universe, which is operating constantly. Right now, if I say Krishna is there in your house or not, what will you say? What will you say? Is Krishna there in your house or not? You have to think about all these questions. Not an atom moves without his order. It means what? The movement of the atom reflects Ishvara. The Ishvara is operating right there. When the leaf is moving like this, Ishvara is operating. Leaf is stationary, also Ishvara is operating. Then my heart is beating. That is Ishvara. Heartbeat is Ishvara. Not Krishna is having a remote control and doing a remote like we change channels. He keeps on doing dub. No remote. Therefore, we have to grow out of thinking of Krishna as a person. Personification. Krishna is operating. The entire laws of the universe are operating. Therefore, you have Shiva. Shiva is dancing, Nataraja. What Nataraja? What is that? That is basically the universe in front of you. Universe standing in front of you, and I am part of that universe. That is Shiva's dance. Okay, this is the way for us to begin thinking. Correct? Therefore, Krishna, once you start thinking like that, then these questions about why did Krishna do that? Why did Krishna do that? We could have done this, he could have done that, and it seemed partial, he did not seem partial. He's a nice guy, he's following Dharma. Krishna has no Dharma. Ishvara does not have to follow Dharma. Why? Because Ishvara is Dharma. Dharma is Ishvara. Correct? If we think of Krishna as a person, then we have to justify all Krishna's actions. We have no pressure to justify Krishna's actions because Krishna is not a person at all. Correct? And Raghavan, I'm giving you a different way to think about this. Different way to think about it. Correct?
Agree.
Yeah, different way to think about it. Okay, good. So, Haraprasad. You can unmute yourself.
Namaste, Guruji.
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned that Swamiji was saying that this is not his emotional problem, that is, it's not a psychological problem. So assuming that it's a fundamental problem, and if I look at it as his fundamental problem, and he has already got the Upadesha on the war field. Arjuna, it's like the entire Upadesham has been given to him. But Arjuna is not referred to as a Jnani anywhere. Did he get it, and was it only for the war that he was able to finish his work without having conflicts? Or was he able to carry forward the Jnanam which was given to him? Did it reflect in his life later? So that is what I was trying to think.
I mean, he says, I don't know about that much about the Pandavas' lives later. There is some story about the dog and they go to heaven and then they come back, etc. There are some stories like that. Okay. So, but he does say, Nashto mohaha smritir labdha. The 18th chapter he says, okay. Just before everything concludes, he says that. Nashto mohaha. My confusion is gone. Okay. And then smritir labdha. He says, Labda, I got back what I had forgotten. That is what he said. That means what? Knowledge cannot be created. Knowledge is always there. Whatever was blocking me from the knowledge, I am now able to see. Smritihi labdha, he says. Referring to Atma Vidya only. And so that's how it ends. So we can take it as though the teaching is culminated. The complete impact of the teaching has been gained. That is how we can take it. But whether it reflected his life and all that, I'm not studying Arjuna's autobiography or biography yet.
I also came across somewhere that somebody was mentioning in some Upanyasa, like later he again asked Krishna, like, can you repeat what was said? And Krishna says, no, I cannot. So that's the thing. I thought so much of Upadesha was given by Bhagavan himself. So unless you're not prepared, even he is helpless to put it into your head. So it is like, it probably given only for us. Arjuna was Nimitta, and you can be sharper than Arjuna and get it.
So yeah, so if we correct, they're also free will. Krishna does not have the free will to say, I will make you understand. No, he can't say that. Krishna can say, I can teach because I know. That's all he can say. He can't say, I will make you understand.
So again, it reveals that Krishna was helpless there. He couldn't put it directly and make him a jnani.
Yeah, free will. Ishvara has no free will. Correct.
I have one question, Guruji. If Ishvara is avashaha, then does it contradict yada yada hidharmasya glanir bhavati bharata?
No, it does not. He's saying, I will appear, but not because of my free will. Within brackets, not because of my free will, because of your free will.
We call him.
Correct. We call. Collective prayers are there, then
We can't take it anymore and we call.
precipitation of avatara. Correct.
But again, continuing that argument further, if he is avashaha, then what is his, why do we need him? Because he is only an observer.
We need him as long as there is Dvaita Buddhi.
As long as Dvaita Buddhi, okay.
Dvaita Buddhi. As long as you think you are separate from Ishvara, you will need Ishvara.
Okay.
As long as you think you are separate from the world, you will need everything. Everything is needed. Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. Haraprasad ji, go ahead.
Yeah.
Mahodaya, that is avasaha, is it? It's the sakara at the end.
Yeah, vash, the word that Mahesh used, avashaha.
I thought avasaha means a friend.
I don't know where you're going.
Okay.
Avashaha.
All right.
No, he
So,
said it is Shakara, Hariprasad ji. Shakara, not
so
Sakara.
it's a shakara, not a sakara then.
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah, then it's
Avasa.
okay.
Avasa means friend, is it?
Avasaha, I think, is a friend, but so Swapna is mentioning it is shakara. So avashaha. Okay.
Yeah, avashaha.
Okay. All right.
And where did we see the word avashaha in the Bhagavad Gita? Yeah, 6th chapter. Correct. So recently, a few classes ago, we saw the.
What is the shloka?
What is the shloka? We saw once before also.
It is 44, 6.44.
644.
Yeah.
Purvabhyasena tenaiva hriyate hyavashopi saha.
Yeah. 44, 6.44.
Okay. 644. Yeah, in fact, I wanted to comment between, we have to be clear about when we think about Krishna, between Mr. Krishna and Krishna the Ishvara. For example, the birthday it is Mr. Krishna's birthday. It is not Ishvara's birthday. So one has to be very clear about this thing.
Okay, correct. Mr. Krishna did have a birthday, correct.
Yeah, that was the Krishna Janmashtami is Mr. Krishna's birthday. It is not Ishvara's birthday.
Correct. So here also, wherever Krishna uses the word mam,
yeah,
tasya kartaram api mam, vidya kartaram abhyayam, right? Chatur varnyam maya srishtam, gunakarma vibhagashaha, tasya kartaram api mam, vidya kartaram abhyayam. So mam, when he says, it is referring to not Mr. Krishna, but Ishvara.
it is Ishvara. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dhanyavada.
If I take it as Mr. Krishna, then that becomes Krishna consciousness, correct?
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. That is it. I mean, it's not, that's what it is. If you take Krishna as literal and that form and this, and before that, there was no teaching, nothing, this and that, then we've got that. Another sampradaya can be started that way.
Yeah. Dhanyavada.
Good. All right. So we'll stop with that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalasha Hastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trilokyanathaya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalasha Hastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trilokyanathaya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalacha Hastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trilokyanathaya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Thank you.
Thank you.